is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made! Touchdown, Oregon!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a new week in Oregon athletics here in the Country Financial Studio. I am Ryan Milano, Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. A whole lot going on in Oregon athletics over the weekend. Men's basketball schedule just dropped a few minutes ago, as well as Oregon football getting their 55-10 win against Hawaii, and Oregon soccer in action over the weekend. We'll talk with Graham Abel later in the show, and Oregon volleyball on the road, a successful 3-0 road trip for Matt Ulmer and company. But at Autzen Stadium on Saturday, it was 55-10, the victory and the final score for Oregon to make them 3-0 on the season, 3-0 throughout non-conference play. Jerry and Georgie were on the call. They had some big-time calls and some big-time plays happened on Saturday. Let's break it all down in the game recap with some of the best calls from Jerry and Georgie from the weekend.
Here come your Ducks! Gary Bryant Jr. way outside of the right receiver, inside of him of one left, and Bo's going to go back and roll right to throw. Stops, downfield, wants to go deep. He's got Tez. Tez makes the catch for the touchdown. Easy peasy. Bo Nix.
How about that beauty?
49 yards. One wide receiver way out to the left. And going to go right, got a chance. 10, 5, pylon, touchdown. Touchdown, Ducks.
Jordan James there, number 20.
Very, very high. Returnable, a yard deep, and bringing it out. 10, 15. Didn't make it a 15. Holy
Is
cow.
that Betcher?
Betcher just lowered the boom. And Bo on 4th and a yard. Hands it off. Outside goes Whittington. There goes Whittington, 30. Stutter step 20, inside of the 10, and finally dragged down at the 3-yard line. Tight formation, everybody in. Here's Bo rolling right. Going to throw to the back of the end zone. Easy touchdown to Traeshon Holden. Holden was outside and then came back to the formation, a very tight formation. Bo rolled immediately to his right. Holden just slipped behind everybody. And now in motion, Herbert goes all the way to the left. Here's a screen to the left, set up perfectly. Tez Johnson, 5, touchdown Oregon. Perfectly executed screen pass to Tez Johnson, who had multiple blockers in front of him. Oregon showing pressure. Back to throw, little shovel pass, and he never got rid of it.
Popo Amavai with the sack.
And Thompson hands the ball off, one left, cut it up, big hole up the middle, jump over the 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Oregon. Great cutback by Whittington, Noah Whittington, touchdown Ducks. On 3rd down and long. Quick throw, inside throw, first down, Traeshon Holden, 20, 10. He caught the ball in the middle, and then it was just his speed that ran away from everybody. They did a lot right tonight, 55-10.
So nice. Had to hear it twice a little bit. Thanks for dealing with us. A little bit of technical difficulties with a slight echo. Should have that fixed now. But a big-time win for Oregon to advance to 3-0 at Autzen Stadium over the weekend. Jerry Jorge, great job on the calls. It was a 2-touchdown day for a whole bunch of different Ducks. Tez Johnson scored twice. Traeshon Holden scored twice. Jordan James scored twice. Noah Whittington got into the end zone one time. And a nice stat from Rob Mosley at Duck Football on Twitter. I saw this earlier today. Oregon now enters Pac-12 play, second in the FBS in points per game with 58. The Ducks are averaging 58 points per game through 3 games. It's now a sample size that's starting to become at least a little bit legitimate. We're about a quarter of the way through the season. Ducks 58 points per game and fourth in the nation with just under 580 yards of offense per game. And the Ducks are also one of 3 teams in the top 20 in the nation in both rushing and passing yards per game through the non-conference. Oregon efficient offensively throughout the first 3 games. Dan Lanning talked about that when he spoke with the media after the game. He also talked about some penalties being things to clean up for the Ducks in the game on Saturday. Let's hear from Coach Lanning and the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. This interview brought to you by WVCI. Here's Coach.
All right, appreciate everybody's patience, man. Really fun atmosphere tonight. I thought our team started really fast. Showed what we were capable of from an efficiency standpoint, really on all phases of the game, from special teams to offense and defense. I thought we played complete. I'm extremely disappointed with the penalties and how they hurt us there. It's something we coached really hard, but we're not coaching it well enough. So that's the first thing we're going to attack. We have to figure out how to make sure we're accountable as a program. Talk about going into half with a ton of momentum, and 3 penalties end up leading to a score there at the end of the first half. So that's extremely frustrating, something we want to correct. Penalties again in that last series that led to another score. So if we haven't figured out the formula yet, I'm disappointed in us. Now, I don't want that to overshadow a lot of the positive that happened. I thought we moved the line of scrimmage. I thought we applied pressure. I thought our coaches had a really good plan. But we're certainly not satisfied. Was thrilled about the crowd tonight. Thought they were electric. Showed up for a big game. And I know they're going to even be better next week. So we can open it up.
Leading up to this week, you talked a lot about their explosive pass tech, like to stretch it vertically. I think their longest completion was 15 yards. Just how do you feel like you did there, and what stood out from your secondary as a whole?
Yeah, I thought we had bodies on bodies, primarily most of the night. And I think, the best coverage at times can be a good rush, right? And I thought we had a good rush throughout the night. But again, we have to learn to be able to play with the ball in the air and not cause penalties, because you look at third down penalty there that led to an opportunity for them to go down and have an opportunity to score. So really solid performance at times, but we're certainly looking for opportunities to get better.
Obviously talked about penalties, and last week we were talking about it as well. Is that, how do you address that?
Yeah, we better not be talking about it next week.
How do you address that this week? Is it something different, or is it just drilling?
I'm not going to do the same thing again and again and expect the different results, so we're going to do something different, right? And we're going to figure out if we can get it fixed, right? If we can't, then they can't be on the field. If you're going to get penalties, you can't be on the field, right? And that's going to be that simple, right? If you get a penalty, you can't play for us. You're hurting the team.
We certainly covered that ground. Then outside of the penalties, is there anything that jumps out at you that you weren't happy about tonight? Because like you say, to overshadow, there was a lot of positive. Is there anything other than penalties that you weren't pleased about?
I'm going to find something. Yeah, I'm going to find something. I can't tell you something right now, but I'll find something, right? We're not going to be satisfied with that result. That being said, I did think that we were really close to playing a complete game. Like, I thought in a lot of ways we were really close to playing a complete game, but that overshadowed it a little bit for me.
Another big Tez game after last week. He had the 2 touchdowns today. What do you kind of make of his early season and how he's kind of stepped in and played really well for you guys right off the bat?
Yeah, I think he's had some really great performances. Those performances show up more so in practice. I'm going to challenge him to go catch the punt return right in the air so we can save some hidden yardage. I'm going to challenge him to hold on to the ball better and not put it in jeopardy. Sometimes we didn't turn over the ball tonight, right? But there's a thing called ball in jeopardy plays. And there were some ball in jeopardy plays where we gave an opportunity for the opponent to be able to go attack it, and we got to do a better job of that. But I'm really pleased with Tez. I'm really pleased with all those wideouts, right? There's some guys in there that are making us better, but I want to make sure that we continue to grow.
Yeah, Dan, I know you got to watch the film, but what did you make of Jordan Burch's performance? Obviously gets the first sack of his Oregon career today.
Yeah, I exactly that. I got to go watch the film, but I know when that guy plays with violent physical effort, like I know he's capable of, that he can be a dominant player, and I think that showed up early in the game, right? And I thought we were assignment sound tonight, right? Sometimes in the past 2 weeks, I'm talking about the entire defense, the entire offense, but when we executed our job, we're generally going to like the results. And I thought everybody in the framework of the defense executed their job, and then they made the plays when they came to them, right? When their opportunity come, they did a good job making a play. And Jordan did a great job on that rush tonight. I hope that's first of many for him.
Traeshon Holden, another receiver that had a big game, 2 touchdowns. That second one went 60 yards. Just your thoughts on your receivers in general, too. Just they can catch it and make one man miss, and it's open field.
And Traeshon, that was some great plays from him tonight. I'm really excited to see him go get that. But I wrote down, man, we got to go hit the jugs because I saw some drops out there too, right? Let's figure out how we can catch him better. So really pleased. But, in games that are going to be tighter down the wire, every opportunity matters, right? And how can we challenge ourselves to improve there? But was really glad to see him have a big game. He started for us on kickoff as well. Did some, how many roles can guys serve for our team? We got a lot of numbers. Right? I don't know how many guys played tonight. I'll know relatively soon. But we played a lot of people. And for us to be the team we can be, I want to continue to play a lot of people.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of that, 10 different guys at the reception tonight. How important and how much of a staple to the offense is the depth of this team?
Yeah, it's really important, right? Because you can't play a whole season with the same guys, right? And then the reality is next year is going to be a new team. But who are we developing on our roster to become elite players down the road, right? And I see guys out there making plays for us now that didn't have a huge role on our team last year, but they're making plays for us now. We want to see that continue to grow and develop.
Coach, what do you want to see from your team heading into this week where conference games are starting and they feel like they have a little bit more importance to them?
Well, I think every game is important, so that doesn't necessarily change for us. But what do I want to see? Growth. Right, I want to see guys I saw a team when I walked in that locker room tonight. Their eyes were burning through their skull because they're hungry to get better, right? And that's what I want to continue to see. They don't need any extra motivation, right? I got a group of dogs in there that want to go, right? So let's let that carry over to Monday, right? What's Monday practice going to look like? What's Tuesday going to look like? And then I can predict the result on Saturday if those look right.
What'd you make of Ty and how he handled the moment and the composure he showed and just how he executed the offense out there?
Yeah, I thought he was extremely engaged throughout the game and ready as soon as his opportunity called and handled it really well. I know the rollout pass there, the naked that he had early, I think he probably wishes he had that one back, could have put it in front of Casey a little bit. But overall, he's done a good job of operating our system when he's gotten in.
Feels like Jaleel has really taken a jump from last year to this year and from the first week of the season to now. What do you think his game's really improved the most?
Yeah, I think he's always been capable. I think his focus has gone to another level, right? And I think there's another level in there. Right? I think there's another step for that guy. But I think he's got a great ability. I'm going to continue to challenge him to get better and continue to make plays and become elite in that area.
This is the Popo that many of us saw years ago and a guy who you didn't have a chance to see last year. What is he meaning to your defense to have what he's bringing for you by way of pass rush from between the guard spots?
I wish he could play 10 years, right? How long has he been in college? Yeah, Popo I'm really, really pleased with. And he's wearing it, on his face in practice, his excitement to be around the game of football again. He's a guy that's had a lot of reps and a lot of experience. But when he shows up on Saturday, that he makes us a different team. And I've always thought the game's won up front. Right, when you can dominate in the interior, you've got a chance to be really, really successful, and Popo certainly makes us better, and we've got a few guys in there rolling that can make us better.
You had those helmet decals for Maui, tons of stuff on the video board. Why was that important for you guys to really emphasize that Polynesian culture tonight during the game?
Well, ultimately, it's bigger than football, right? And we have a platform that we need to be able to use for great causes, right? And that's a cause worth, fighting for and doing something for. So it means a lot to our players. We have a lot of players that are touched, by the events in Maui. But it just means a lot to us as a program to have the opportunity to give back. So it's always going to be about more than football for us.
Obviously, you still have to review the film from this last game, but what are your kind of first thoughts now that, non-conference is behind you guys and, you are looking ahead to conference play?
Well, I'm hoping you guys will stop asking me questions so I can go watch the rest of their game, But no, we're excited to go play a great opponent. This is going to be an awesome atmosphere for Oregon Ducks, and these are one of those marquee games that we're really, really excited about. So we know we're going to get everybody's best, which is exactly what we want, right? And I got a lot of respect for that team. It's obviously a completely different team than it was last year, right? So let's see what it looks like when we go on their field. We hope we get their best, and we're certainly going to try to give them ours.
Looking at next week, Dan, how would you assess the job Dion has done so far at Colorado, and just how would you describe the challenge that they bring in here next week?
Yeah, I obviously have to take a deeper dive in it, but you have to be a fool to not recognize the results that they've created on a team that didn't have a lot of success before. So he's done a phenomenal job. He's recruited a lot of players that I'm familiar with personally that are there playing for him. He's got a good roster, and they're winning games, right? And it doesn't always matter how, but they're winning games. So obviously he's doing something right up there.
What do you think of the three backs, Bucky, Jordan, and Noah, and how important is it for you to be able to spread out the wealth among touches throughout the game?
Yeah, I don't know if that's as important as when you have guys that are good enough, you want to make sure they continue to have roles for us. I don't know about each guy's individual performance. I thought there were some great runs, and then I thought there were some runs that could have been better. I'll say that our guys ran with toughness the entire night. I got to go back and watch to see, did we hit our tracks on certain plays? Were we maybe a little too antsy on others? We own the ball, and that's something we have to continue to do, so we'll continue to look for that in the future.
Made it clear there's a lot of things you're happy about, but there's also a lot that can be cleaned up. Do you feel like this team has been receptive of that message as well? Do they feel the same way as you do?
Yeah, our guys are always great about how can we get better, and this team, to me, is taking that to another level. Like, we have leaders on this team right now, and you wonder about that. Do you really have that? We truly do have leaders on this team, and they have a voice, right? And if they decide to take the bull by the horns, right, it gives us an opportunity to be special.
With this upcoming opponent, because of what has been said, because of what will be said this week, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of national attention on this upcoming game. That's not something that this team has really dealt with yet this year. How do you want to go in and kind of, emphasize the fact that it's just, block everything out?
Yeah, play the game, not the occasion. Right, play the game, not the occasion, right? They have homecoming as well, right? And you get the homecoming dance and you have the parade, but guess what? Everybody cares about the football game. That's what we're going to do. Go play the football game. No offense to the parade or anything else.
Realize you won't play as strict a run and shoot scheme again, and probably not quite as much of last week's scheme, but is there anything from these past two games that you think could help you and apply specifically to next week and their aerial assault and what they try to do in a passing game?
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for their offensive coordinator. I think he does a great job, and I know he does a good job of looking at what you've done on film and where weaknesses exist and exploiting that in the future. So we have to look at ourselves, right, as intently as he's going to look at us in ways to attack us. So I think that's really important this week. What are the things that have hurt us? Because it'll show up in the future. It's going to show up throughout the season. So I always say if you don't want to see something, make sure it doesn't happen, right? But some of those things that happen to us, so we got to make sure we're ready for them when they come up again.
That's Coach Dan Lanning talking about the 55-10 win over Hawaii. Also projecting a little bit towards next week against Colorado. Fans who are coming to Autzen Stadium for that game against the Buffaloes, it is a stripe out at Autzen Stadium. Odd sections and student sections wear yellow, even sections wear green. That game going to be at 12:30 at Autzen Stadium. So make sure that you are looking at your section and wearing the correct colored attire to make Autzen and that bowl look just absolutely rocking. We also, for not next weekend, but the weekend after, just got kick time down in Stanford. It is going to be a 3:30 kick time for the Ducks versus the Cardinal. It will be on Pac-12 networks where that game will be televised. But that's still 2 weeks away. We're still talking about this 55-10 win over the weekend that Oregon was able to pull off against the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. We're going to get a quick timeout. We just heard from Coach, and when we come back, we'll hear from the quarterback. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Ryan Milano in the Country Financial Studio. It was a packed weekend in Oregon athletics. We'll hear from Oregon soccer head coach Graham Abel coming up later in the show. Also break down a little bit of what happened in volleyball over the weekend as the Ducks turn to look towards conference play. But we're still focused on football and how the Ducks played at Autzen Stadium against Hawaii. A 55-10 victory for the Ducks. The quarterback, Bo Nix, a pretty strong weekend for him, slung 3 touchdowns in the game, and, well, it's good when your starting quarterback doesn't have to play in the fourth quarter. Here is quarterback Bo Nix after the victory.
Your overall thoughts on your guys' offensive performance today?
I thought we did some good things. I thought we could, correct some of the bad things, but overall, we did good. We pushed the ball down the field. We ran the ball really efficiently. And then we completed passes when we needed to, had some explosives. We could still cut back on some penalties, but sometimes, situational penalties, hard to avoid. But, we just got to clean some stuff up and continue to, find explosive plays.
Can you give us your perspective on JPJ's Superman dive on that run out to the left?
Yeah, so JPJ is a great effort guy. He's a really smart football player. He cares a lot. He just wants to make a play. I saw it right in front of me. He kind of did it. I think he was trying to take out 2 guys at once and just missed a little bit.
There's going to be a lot of outside noise this week because of the opponent. You're obviously used to that. You know how to block it out. A lot of the young guys on this team may not know how to do that. How are you, as a leader on this team, to be able to help them with that process?
It just starts at practice. It starts showing up and just putting our head down and going to work. There's a lot of things, like I said, as a team we can correct and fix. And, it's just eliminating the chatter, eliminating the noise, doing our best as a team to eliminate it overall. And then, when it's time to work, just really keep the main thing and, just go back to work for ourselves and correct ourselves.
You obviously dealt with quite a bit of that at Auburn. At what point in your career did you feel comfortable just kind of like shutting down the outside noise and just focusing on that week?
My freshman year, a lot of ups and downs. I had some really good moments and then had some tough losses. So during my freshman year, you kind of have to learn to get off social media. You got to, delete it so you aren't even tempted to get on it. And, once that happens, you can hear some chatter, but really you're keeping the main thing. The focus is on the preparation and on the game.
No turnovers so far this year for you guys. How much is that?
Oh, why'd you jinx it? Come on. No, I'm kidding.
How much of that is something that you guys talked about in the offseason with Coach Stein?
We talk about that, every day. That's our main goal. We want to play clean. And the number one way to play clean is not turn the ball over, not give them easy possessions. So it's important for us. We work at it. We put an emphasis on it. And so it's one thing that we hope to continue to do because that's why we're playing very efficiently.
What has helped Tez kind of come in? Obviously, you know him super well, but come in and just be able to do this much for you guys, especially over the last 2 weeks. He's really stepped up.
But, he just provides, something different out there at receiver. We really have a lot of big, explosive playmakers at receiver. Obviously, Trey showed another one tonight. Troy's explosive on any play. And then GB, he hasn't That first game he had a lot of touches. We got to get him, more involved. But all those guys they do a really good job of just when their number's called, they go out there and make a play, and they feed off of each other. And so Tez does a really good job of feeding off those other guys, and those other guys do a good job of feeding off of him. And that whole room, I'm excited to see them continue to build and grow and get better as a unit, because they definitely helped me.
How would you describe what's going on in Colorado and what Deion has brought to that program?
It's awesome. I don't know if I've ever seen it happen before. A complete turnaround of a program that's really hard to do in college football, especially in today's day and age. Coach Prime and I go back. He was my coach at the Under Armour game, so I know him, and I know how fierce of a competitor he is. I know he does a good job of being a leader and being a coach, and he has his team ready to play.
He was your coach at the Under Armour game?
What's up?
He was your coach at the Under Armour game.
Time reference, just your help, your leadership this offseason and his development, because second game in a row now he's played. He looks markedly better than he was last year. What did you do? How did you help him get better?
Well, I didn't do much. All I did was kind of, encourage him, and he's made strides himself. I would agree. He's a complete person. He looks calm back there. He just does what he does at practice, and he goes out there and plays hard. He does a lot of efficient things, and he gets the ball out. He doesn't make negative plays. He just does what he's supposed to do, and in our offense, that works out.
Have you had a chance to watch Colorado much at all defensively in terms of what Charles Kelly's running? Is that similar to what Pete Golding was running at Bama? Is that similar to what Tosh runs? Is it totally different? Have you had a chance to watch that?
I haven't watched much. Obviously, just seen some highlights. Haven't seen a lot of defensive angles. But, with his background, I'm sure he does a lot of those different trees. I'm sure he's got a lot in his toolbox. He's coached a lot of football. I have a great respect for him, and they're going to have a good defense.
Because of your relationship with Tez, I'm sure you had ideas about what it would be like to, throw touchdowns to him. How has that kind of lived up to your expectations? And do you allow yourself to get a little bit, I don't want to say more excited, but it's him on the receiving end, but does it feel a little bit special to you at all out there?
It's definitely special. I'm definitely excited. And, for him, I just, been able to, watch him, grow up and develop. And, it's just rewarding to see guys like that with the path they've taken, have success on the football field. And, you could say that for a lot of guys, on our team. I feel like each week somebody else is doing something special. And so I expect that to continue to go on, because we have so many playmakers. We have so many weapons. It's kind of hard to get the ball to all of them. But that's, I think, a good problem to have. But I just proud of him, proud of his work ethic. Now he's going to have to really continue to push and grow himself, and continue to get better and not settle.
Dan was very adamant that he was happy with how you guys played, but there was still a lot of things to clean up to get better at. From your vantage point, just offensively, what are some of those things that you feel like you could be better at going into conference play?
I think at the end of the day, you don't want to beat yourself. If you run a route and they cover it and they do a good job, or if they shed a block and they get back in the backfield, or if they make a good play on defense, that's props to the defense. But what you don't want is when you're having self-inflicted wounds and your errant passes or drops or holdings or penalties or missed assignments that you can avoid. The stuff that you can avoid, we really want to hone in on and honestly be perfect at, because we have total control over that. And the other situational stuff, it happens. You just move on and find ways to find solutions when the problems are there. But overall, we just got to continue to play clean, continue to own the ball, continue to not have any turnovers, and just continue to do what we do offensively, and the rest will pan out.
You haven't been running the ball as much this year. Is that something by design, or is it just something about taking what the defense gives you?
That's taking what the defense gives you. It's early in the season, a lot of football left, and so obviously the plays call, and you just go out there and get the job done, whatever that's however that works. I felt like I did a good job running the ball last week, so that's going to continue to show up, and when the opportunity is there, got to hit them.
That's Bo Nix talking about the Oregon offense after the 55-10 victory over Hawaii. What I really liked from that interview is Bo Nix a few different times talked about the distribution between the receivers. Well, it doesn't get much more evenly spread out than the distribution between Oregon's top 4 receivers on Saturday. Troy Franklin, Tez Johnson, Gary Bryant Jr., Traeshon Holden, each of the 4 had 4 receptions. Each of the 4 had between 60 and 85 yards, and there were 4 touchdowns spread out between them, 2 for Tez Johnson, 2 for Traeshon Holden. Bo Nix threw 3 of those touchdowns. There was also Traeshon Holden catching a touchdown pass from Ty Thompson as well. We're going to hear from the big-time Alabama transfer target wide receiver who had a big-time day in green and yellow with his first 2 Duck TD catches. Here's Traeshon Holden.
What was it like to have that kind of contribution to a win with this team?
It was just a good feeling, going out there, playing with my guys, making plays. We practice every day to do that, so it's like it's regular, kind of. We just had fun.
The offense has been spreading the ball around a lot. How hungry were you to contribute the way some other guys have the past couple weeks?
Oh, I mean, I'm always hungry. Like I go in every week, just going to practice, my head down, going to work, and whenever I get the opportunity to go make a play, I'm gonna make it. That's just how I roll.
As a group, do you feel like you guys got better this week and addressed some of the things from last week?
Oh, no, for sure. Because we felt like we didn't perform how we were supposed to perform last week, and we practiced this week. We felt like the offense had a great week of preparation, and we went out there and showed what we could do. So,
explosiveness with your position group. Is that what makes this group exciting? It feels like tonight was your night where you make one guy miss, you could go the distance.
So, I feel like everybody got their own little, their own little sauce, what they can do. But we all explosive though. So we all got that make somebody miss ability and get upfield. I feel like our group real special for sure.
What did you see on that touchdown, that long one, the second one? Did you see the blitz? Did you know if you just make one guy miss, it could be open?
I knew it was man, and I knew the play call, and I knew I was getting it, and I knew I was going to the crib. For sure, yeah.
I know you were playing the game, but there were a lot of tight scores today in college football. How does it feel just to get the win, securely dominating the entire game, going into next week, knowing that that's going to be a huge primetime game?
Yep. For sure, I think that us going out there and dominating that's just what we're supposed to do. And 24-hour rule. We play Colorado, but we'll talk about Colorado when Colorado actually on the schedule. So.
And how important is it going to be to kind of clean up some of those penalties heading into next week, knowing that you're heading into Pac-12 play?
That was something we emphasized on this week too. So we just gonna keep doing what we've been doing, focusing on not being ourselves, and just going out there and having fun, doing everything right, and making plays. That's offense.
500 yards, 50 points. Dan came out though and said there's still a lot more left for you guys to be able to do. What excites you about the potential of this offense and what it could become?
I just love that we have a bunch of playmakers everywhere. So it's not like it's forced to 2 people, 3 people. You seen how many people touch the ball today. We got a great running back room, and I feel like we got the best receiver room in the country. So, and the best quarterback room too. So we got the ability to be the best offense in the country. So.
What do you think about what's going on in Colorado and Dion and that whole show?
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even really be paying attention to that as much. I just focus on what we got to do in this building and handle what I got to do in this building. That's what they do is what they do. I don't really know.
You might be the only guy in college football that's not paying attention to that.
I came here to win. I'm focused on my team and what we got to do to reach that end goal.
This is your first year with playing with Ty, but he looks markedly improved from the last couple of years. Just what are your thoughts on just his development this year and just his command of the offense?
No, for sure. Ty, that's my dog. That's my guy. Like, we make plays every day. Even on that drive I scored, I say, hey, we finna make a play. That very next play scored. Like, I got all the faith in the world in Ty. He's a great quarterback. He's a great player. And everybody look up to him when he in there. It's no drop down from him to Bo. It's like we saying, we not running the ball because he in there. We going to make plays. That's what I love about that. So.
Traeshon Holden, playmaker, had two big-time plays, made two big-time plays on Saturday, helped Oregon get their 55-10 win against Hawaii. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, shifting gears a little bit, Oregon soccer head coach Graham Abel after the weekend transitioning into conference play. That's next. We come back on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano joined by Oregon soccer head coach Graham Abel. Welcome, Coach, to the program. A weekend on the road at Boise State. Just initial thoughts of your team in what was a little bit of a different schedule, just a one-off game this weekend, but got the draw. What were your thoughts against Boise State?
I thought early on we started the first half okay. Kind of lost control of the game a little bit halfway through the first half, and then was able to get, but the last 10 minutes of the first half really started to play well and come into the game. And then the second half, went down into halftime 1-0. And we challenged the group a little bit at halftime in terms of, we can get back a hold of this game, but we've got to, show a little bit of personality in order to do it. And I thought we did that really well in the second half. Allowed the game to get a little bit too stretched. Boise are a pretty direct team, pretty, in terms of how they go about it, and they're good at doing it as well. So if you don't manage that piece of it, the game can get real stretched. And so we were able to get back to 1-1. And then was able to get a little bit of pressure on them, and disappointed we didn't come away with the win. But I thought it was progress in terms of the group showing character.
A big emphasis from you last week was that first 15 minutes out of halftime and being better in that span. You went into the breakdown 1-0. By the 60th minute, it was tied 1-1. What were the conversations like with your team in terms of that point in the game? How do you sort of coach that 15 minutes, and how did you get that result where you did get that goal back in that time frame?
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep it simple at halftime. Give me 3 defending points, 3 attacking points that we know that we need. And then it was just challenging the group, to be quite honest with you, to say, hey, listen, we've got to come out, and we've got to come out on the front foot. We've got to come out, and these coaching points that we're making right now, we can't wait until the 60th, 70th minute to start applying them. We've got to apply them right away. We've got to put them under pressure right away. And I thought we did that well. It was a good goal that we scored. managed to progress the ball up the field really well, and then Parada, got the ball in the attacking third, hit a good diagonal ball, and Nace finished it really well.
Ajane Respass getting that goal like you just mentioned. What have you seen from her, able to crack through for the first time this season, had a strong year last year? What has her journey been like from sort of the end of last year to now where we are entering conference play this year?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is because Nate got herself up on the line. She's a number 9, so that's where she needs to be, up on the line, challenging to score goals. That's her job for the team. And so we've challenged Nate a lot this year, especially with her back-to-goal play in terms of connecting and helping us build, especially when we're down a little bit deeper in the field and we've got to get the ball higher up the field and we need someone to hold the ball up. So continue to improve on that piece and we've, like I said, continually challenged her to put herself in goal-scoring positions, and she put herself in a great goal-scoring position and got a really good goal from it.
How do you continue to coach that throughout the year? You talk about goal-scoring positions. What sort of does that entail, not only for her, but for the rest of your team when they get into that attacking position?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the college game's different than the professional game, just because, like I said earlier, the game gets so stretched from front to back. In some of the games from your back line to your front line, at times it could be 70, 80 yards of distance, and so that's difficult to get numbers into the attack if you're continuing to do that. So it's, as we play forward, making sure all our lines, so the back line, the midfield line, the front line are coming up together. So as you progress up the field, you've got support underneath the ball. So if you can't play it in, if you can't play a ball into 18-yard box, you can't play a shot, you've always got players under the ball, behind that can support. So it's continuing to get those numbers into the attack, and maybe instead of hitting one big pass to get, behind the team or to hurt a team, maybe it's 3 passes, and then that gives you a little bit more time to bring those lines up.
And when you look at the stats for this season, and it's a little bit more difficult to gauge in a sport like soccer when the goals come a little bit less frequently than they do in other sports where you score points. But it seems like over the past few games that the statistics have been progressing in terms of shots on goal, in terms of shots on net. It seems like those statistics have been slowly improving throughout the course of the season. Does that back up your assessment from what you've seen on the pitch? And how do you feel like that offensive development in terms of getting shots into dangerous areas where you can score goals? How do you feel like that is progressing to this point in the season?
I don't take a whole lot of stock into the shots, just because of how we record shots in college soccer is a little bit skewed. If a player blocks the ball from 2 yards away, it's counted as a shot technically. So, I mean, I think the thing for us, it's more about how do we progress the ball into certain parts of the field, and then once we're into those certain parts of the field, can we get quality deliveries? Can we get quality numbers into certain parts of the field? So we look at it more that way. There's certain teams you play, you're going to get maybe double in terms of shots. It's shot quality where that comes from. If you're taking all your shots from 30 yards out, at this level of college soccer, it shouldn't affect you too much in terms of that piece. So it's more quality of the positioning that we're looking for.
You're going into Pac-12 play this weekend, playing up against Arizona, into conference play. Now that it's sort of a reset of the season where you have your non-conference schedule and you have your conference schedule, now that you're at this midway point in the year, where do you feel like your team is at and prepared for a Pac-12 opponent, a Pac-12 slate for the rest of the season?
Well, we've been on the road a lot, so that there's a maturity that comes with that piece and a lot of learning that comes with that piece, which I think is really good. We tried to establish a style of play, and we've had a number that have come back from injury, so we've been able to get them 8-9 games under their belt now, and additionally to all the 11v11 we've been able to do in practice. So happy with regards to that piece. We've gotten a lot of young players, a lot of experience, so we're excited going into the Pac-12 piece.
2 weekends in a row, you played only a Thursday game this week. You're going to play only a Thursday game this next week. How does that sort of help your team in a recovery aspect when you're getting players back from injury?
Yeah, we're able to, we've been lucky, this season, for the most part of it, one major injury, but we've been, for the most part, been able to stay healthy. And it just allows us to prolong, our student-athletes' bodies throughout the year, and they're not professional athletes, so to go Thursday, Sunday constantly is a grind. And so being able to, give them a day off here and there, with us just having the 1-game weekends, is huge.
Arizona down in the desert on Thursday. What are the keys to success against an Arizona squad? What do they do well, and what do you need to do well to have success on the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, they've changed over the years. I mean, I think, when the previous head coach was there, Tony Amara, they were extremely direct and really difficult to play against, similar to Boise State. And new coaches come in and done a really good job kind of changing how they play and getting players to fit her style and a little bit more possession based. So we're going to have to be organised defensively, because they'll move the ball really well. We need to be able to find our high players, and establish, possession in the attacking half of the field, and make sure, we control the game on that side of things. And then, again, making sure that our numbers, aren't getting too stretched, and we don't want to turn it into a game where we're, running unnecessarily. And so if we can keep control of the ball and keep the numbers tight, then we'll be able to affect the game the way we want to do it.
Is there anything else that fans should know before you take the pitch? On I said Thursday, excuse me. It's Friday against Arizona. Is there anything else that fans should know before you take the pitch on Friday?
No, if we've got any fans out in Tucson, come along.
Friday, 7 p.m. against the Wildcats of Arizona. Your team will be there, and I'm looking forward to see you guys in action. That will be televised on Pac-12 Arizona. Coach, thanks for hanging out.
Perfect. Thanks, buddy.
That is Oregon soccer head coach Graham Abel. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back, and we'll continue to break down Oregon football's win over Hawaii on Saturday. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We are back on Duck Insider in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano talking about the Oregon football 55-10 win over Hawaii on Saturday. And there were some fun plays that happened in that ball game. Jackson Powers Johnson getting out in front of the running Bo Nix and trying to get in front of two defenders at the same time. That was a highlight of the weekend. We heard from Jackson. We're going to hear from Jackson Powers Johnson. Here's the experienced offensive lineman postgame.
You had a nice Superman block for Bo earlier in that game. How did that feel? Just kind of
well, it hurt, number one, knocked the wind out of me, but Bo's out in space. I got to block for him. That means I got to throw my body in it. I'll throw my body in it, but hopefully it looks semi-athletic. It probably won't, but we'll take it. So, yeah.
How do you feel like your O-line, how you guys performed overall today?
I think we did a great job, but definitely some area for improvement. We had little things that kind of went wrong that, that could spark huge runs, And the great thing which excites me and excites kind of everybody is like we have something to work on to get better at. We can be even better. We can be even more elite, and we're all hungry and we're all ready to do that. So.
The ex-coach was pretty pointed about the penalties as a whole tonight. Obviously, all right, you have a couple.
Oh, no, yeah, let's hear it.
So he says, if you get penalties, you got to come out of the game. You're hurting the team.
Yeah.
I don't know how that applies to you and Bo necessarily, but let's just say it does.
Yeah.
How do you try to go about correcting illegal man downfield from your spot or false starts or those things?
I mean, it's definitely just we work it in practice. I mean, whether it's the play, whether it's communication, I mean, it has to be better, and I have to be better at that for sure. But I mean, those are on me. You know, I got too excited to go block someone downfield, and I need to stay back. But the great thing is, as I said before, little things to go good, great. So.
How difficult is it for you though to not go down the field when you're blocking for an RPO?
I mean, it's tough. It's tough because you don't know if running back's coming right off it. You know what I'm saying? And you want to block for those guys. But it's college football. We're not in high school. We're not in elementary anymore. You got to think about 10 things at once, and have 60,000 and maybe 2 million people at home watch you. And don't screw up. So yeah.
Because of this opponent this week, there's going to be a ton of national media, national hype about this game. This team, there's a lot of players in this team that haven't really dealt with that. You're part of the team last year. You kind of know what that's like. How are you going to be, as a leader on this team, help some of the young guys to block out all that noise?
I mean, it's just practice. It's practice and it's football. We're here to play a game. We're not here to, look at all the outside noise. We're here to play just football, and they'll know that for sure. And what's great about it is, our coaches do a wonderful job of teaching us, to keep the main thing and just focus on us Ducks. You know what I'm saying? And, we're about to play a great opponent, and kudos to them. And we're super excited. Austin's going to be electric and loud. And, but it's just, I'm just excited. I'm excited for Monday practice to see where I can get better and where I can keep going. So.
Do you feel like your group took a step today in terms of cohesion, in terms of execution?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we took a step in direction, but everyone keeps on asking me you're developing connection through your line. We've been doing this for a long time. Since winter, since spring, since all that, we've been cohesing together. We've been coming together, and I think now y'all get to see it. Now we get to put that on display. So, but definitely. Every day, every second we're together, we're taking a step in the right direction as an offensive line unit.
So you had a chance to watch much of Colorado yet defensively and just what you're preparing for in terms of this week. Is there any similarities if you had a chance to watch them very much?
I played Hawaii today, so when today's over and I have to go play Colorado next week, I'll start watching them for sure. But we were just preparing for this week, and I'm just ready for Monday's practice. So.
About that week to week, about preparing to play against different teams, especially Colorado, a team that hasn't played a whole lot they've played 3 weeks together, but other than that, they haven't really had a lot of cohesion. Can you just talk about that as an O-line?
Well, they have a great staff, and they have a great fan base, and they have a great energy about them, so they're going to bring their best, and they're going to be a great team, But going back to your question, it's just staying where your feet are. Stay where your feet are, and, we're playing this team this week, and maybe now we're practicing against us today, Just when you look outside and you look at all the noise and everything, it distracts you from what you got great right behind you. So we're just on to the next, So just like chapters in a book, you're not gonna start on 1 and go to 20. You're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. So
when you look at the next chapter,
Jackson Powers Johnson keeping the main thing focused on Oregon before the matchup next week against Colorado. We're going to take our final timeout, and when we come back, a whole bunch of things in Oregon athletics, including the new men's basketball non-conference schedule released earlier today. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
We are back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It is time for your Cafe Yumm 2-minute drill, serving fresh food fast with organic and local ingredients. Enjoy a famous Yumm Bowl at 23 Cafe Yumm restaurants throughout the Northwest, home of the Ducks. Earlier today, just before the show got on the air, men's basketball released a non-conference schedule, the non-conference schedule for the year. Season opening up with Georgia. That game going to be in Las Vegas. Montana, Tennessee State, Florida A&M, the Emerald Coast Classic, where the Ducks will meet up against a few different teams in that tournament. Then home against Michigan, that game on December 2nd. 3-game homestand followed up by UTEP and Cal Baptist. Then in a neutral site game against Syracuse. And then at home versus Kent State to close out the non-conference schedule. Yesterday, a bit of pro Ducks news. Christian Gonzalez, the rookie cornerback for the New England Patriots. Sunday Night Football prime time. He got his first NFL interception.
My man from the 45, here's Tua, looking deep, taking a shot downfield for Tyreek, underthrown, intercepted, the rookie Christian Gonzalez.
The first of what hopefully is many more for Oregon cornerback Christian Gonzalez. There is also men's golf getting in action today at the Husky Invitational. There is the Husky Individual Invitational where a few Ducks will be present. There's also the Husky Team Invitational where the Ducks will play in their full squad. Oregon volleyball, big weekend for the Ducks on the court. The Ducks got a gritty 3-2 win, a top 10 victory on Thursday against number 8 Pitt. Joey mentioned that on Friday. 3-2 win against James Madison. How about that fourth set in that one? 25-8. Ducks at number 6 in the most recent poll. And a 3-0 sweep over Marquette on Sunday to close out the volleyball weekend for Matt Omer's squad. Women's soccer, we just talked with Coach Abel. Got the draw against Boise State. They will be in action on Friday at 7 p.m. against Arizona. I miss anything? I don't know if I missed anything. Oh, yeah, football won 55-10. See you tomorrow.
I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Babes,